Hi, everyone. Happy hump day. Happy therapy day. Thanks for joining me. Hopefully, our guest will show up today. I have a very, very awesome guest. But I really want to get into something real quick here before time runs out and they show up. So I want to just say thanks for joining me. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks so much for becoming members. Thanks for all you do to help this channel grow. If you're new here, thanks for coming and checking out the channel. I think you'll love our community. We created an awesome community here. I love it. I look forward to my Wednesdays a lot. The great conversation we have. That being said, I also want to let you know that I do shout outs here, and we're going to just do shout outs real quick today, everybody. I see you all. Thank you so much. Thanks to all the regulars. Thanks for showing back up. I'm going to shout you out, and then we're going to get straight into this story that is blowing my mind. It's why I want to talk to you guys about it. So the first one I see is Idaho, which actually I'll be in Idaho next month. So who knows? Maybe we can meet for a coffee. Okay, so we got Idaho's in the house. We got Canada in the house. We got Alaska in the house. Happy Wednesdays in the house. Thanks for catching the live. We got New York State. We got Georgia. Russia's in the house. Hey, Russia, thanks for joining us. Netherlands, thank you. Houston, Illinois, London, Houston. I'll be in London in September. SoCal, Vancouver, UK, Portland, St. Louis, England, Northern California, Washington, North Carolina. We got Georgetown, Ohio in the house, New England, Tennessee, Nottingham, Arizona, Nevada, Quebec, Indiana. Wow, you guys, you're killing it here today. Liverpool, UK, Scotland, Norway. I told you it's worldwide, everybody. Missouri, England, Russia, more Russia. That's I don't know what's happening there. Michigan in the house, Michigan, Alabama, Israel. Thank you for joining us. Brooklyn, Alberta, Canada, Wellesley, UK, West Virginia, North Carolina, Norway, New York State, Seattle, Ireland, Massachusetts, Switzerland, Toronto, El Paso. You guys are awesome. Blackpool, UK, Ireland in the house. Wales in the house, Yakima, Washington in the house. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, but I'm telling you, it's not me, you guys. Detroit, Washington, England in the house. It's all of us. Glasgow, Scotland, right on. Derbyshire, Washington, and Portland, Oregon. Thank you all so much. It means a lot to me. It does. I think it means a lot to all of us that we've created such a beautiful, awesome community here. You know, if you're new here, I want to let you know we love dialogue here. All of us. We really do. We have two great mods in the house. One is Lisa and the other is Anne, and they control the chat. And I want you to know that we don't put up with any nonsense here. You are more than welcome to actually challenge me and us and our opinions here, but what you're not allowed to do is just be a jerk. We're not cool with that. We got Portland in the house. We should have a whole show on Portland, but and so I just want you to know that we're good with talking about opposite opinions. What we're not good with is just coming on here and calling me a woman, which is cool. I don't really care, but it's just obvious what you're doing. Or coming on here and making gross remarks about things, you know. Opinions are okay. What's not okay is trolling and gross stuff. So that being said, Lisa and Anne are on it, and they're hardcore, and they will either block you or they will take your comment off, okay? Or I'll put you up on stage. I'll put you up on stage, my friend, and literally expose you. So just be prepared for that. Okay, so I want to get into this story, you guys. We got Richland, Virginia in the house. If I missed all you, it's because I'm going to go straight into this story, okay? So just post it up there, and I see Portland, Birmingham, UK, and Southern Illinois in the house, and Derbyshire. Did I say that right? Also, just so you know, I'll be in Idaho the beginning, I think it's like the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th maybe of August. My sister lives up there, and I'll be near, I think it's Pocatello area. So if anyone's around that area, I'll create a little coffee and we can go have a coffee together if we have a chance. And also I'll be in the UK and the London area September 3rd through the 10th. And I might have a day or so to meet with my London fellows, or UK. If you want to hang out with me and have a coffee there as well, or a tea, we can do that. But we'll talk about that later because I have a really special guest coming on today. And before that guest comes on, I really am just appalled at what's happening in the universe, in this world. And I do see such a horrible attack on young people. I mean, probably it's been going on for a long time. There's no doubt. People have been attacking children, essaying them, and doing creepy stuff to them. But it seems to be more out in the open. And I'm wondering if that's like the internet. We have more access to exposing things, or if it just feels like more and more kids are being like abducted or essayed, or it's just the most creepy stuff. So I was just looking for some stuff to create some new videos, and I'm always looking for really cool stories. Oh, by the way, the last story I just did on Macron, Brigitte Macron, and some people think that she is a he and transgender. Look, I don't care if she is a he, and I don't actually even care if she's transgender. But I find it quite fascinating. Hey, Vicky, I find it quite fascinating to me that people are so like sided on this thing, right? And so I decided that I wanted to do a video on it because I just think it's really fascinating. Am I a conspiracy theorist? No, I am not. I do not think of myself a conspiracy theorist. But what I do think of myself as somebody who thinks about things. And when factual stuff is presented to me, I kind of think about it a little bit. And I think you all are thinkers in this room, as well as a groomer. You're right. But that wasn't what I was kind of getting at in the story. But a lot of people were kind of a little bit saying that I should talk more about the grooming aspect of it. Well, maybe I should. And maybe I can do another episode on it, right? But for that particular episode, and some of the people got so some people got so mad at me for doing the story. Like, oh, Buck, are you turning into a Kansas Owens? Oh, so now I can only do... Anyway, I don't take it personally. I just find it funny that people got mad that I was actually talking about the fact that she could be a he. It could actually possibly be. In all of the stuff I'm reading and looking at, I'm not a dummy, okay? So, and also, if I have an opinion about it, I'm 100% entitled to have an opinion about it, especially as a transsexual person. So, some of the stuff does kind of lean towards that, and it's a little bit, and right, thank you, Cleo. I was not being disrespectful nor mean. I was just saying, look, let's talk about this. Could it be true? Isn't it weird that her brother is never seen? Come on, you guys. We all have to admit that's a little bit funky. So what I did is I put a picture of me before and after. I don't know if you watched the video, but it's so funny because I have a picture of me when I was a model as a female, and then now as like this dude. And I'm like, okay, so does that look like my sister? Could I say that's my sister instead of me being trans? I possibly could, right? But where is my sister? And how come my sister never shows up to any events? I will do the Epstein thing for sure, but I'm putting that over here because that also feels very much, I don't know, there just feels a lot to the Epstein stuff too. So anyway, I just wanted to touch on that a bit because I found it quite funny that everybody got not everybody, most people are super cool with that, but people just got, yeah, that's not funny and you shouldn't be talking about Brigitte Macron possibly being trans. But why shouldn't I be talking about it if it's actually in the news? My long lost sister Becky, totally, like, where's my sister? I mean, I'm just gonna laugh, and if you don't like it and you call me transphobic, you just go right ahead. We're all bored with your transphobia. I just want to call these people out. And also, I just want to ask you this question. If Brigitte is not trans, okay, let's just say I was hiding my transness, okay? And let's just say, like, I was denying that I was ever a female, right? And then everybody was like, yes, you were. We found this and this. And then, you know what I would do is I would say, you know what? Okay, fine, whatever. You can call me that. I don't really care. Go right ahead. And I would just move forward. Because the fact that they are so obsessed with making sure that no one, it seems to me, leaks the story. They're suing people. They're pissed at it. Wouldn't you just say, okay, whatever, call me trans. I don't really care. Go right ahead. Ha ha. Like, kind of making fun of it instead of, like, you're right. It's the part of her having relations with him at 14. That's the actual story. So do you all think maybe they're using that in a way to sort of hide the other story, which is the actual story, and the fact that she was his teacher, at 14 and then they got together. That's probably the real story. But everybody's just like, let's talk about so they're making the trans thing, or is she a he there? So nobody, it's what do you call that when you're like, look over here, why people are doing all of this other shit over here. So look over here. And then everyone's just forgetting that she seriously like got that kid at 14 and then it became her husband, right? So is she a he? I don't know. Am I allowed to have an opinion about it? For sure. Are there things that lead to me to think possible? Joe Rogan was like, no lady walks like that. No lady sits like that. I'm like, okay, division, right? You're all right. Distraction. Because the real story is the 14-year-old and the 40-year-old. Look, I'm 20 years older than my partner, Rachel. Okay, I'm 20 years older. People are like, that's a lot. But my partner is 43 or 45. I don't even know anymore. And I'm 63, right? Whatever. That is a whole different age. I don't think there's anything wrong with large age gaps. But if you're an adult, do I have a problem with a 20-year-old and maybe a 60-year-old? To be honest with you, something about that seems a little... I mean, for me personally, I would never date a 20-year-old. There's just, what are we going to talk about? Like, seriously, we're going to play video games all day? Like, I just don't get it. I personally don't get it, and I would never date a 20-year-old. I probably wouldn't even date a 30-year-old. 40, I got to sit down and have some conversation. So, oh, you're turning 63. Congratulations. It's such a great age. Congratulations. So, okay, I got lost in that because I went to one of my conferences for my products, and all these people saw me, and everyone wanted to hug and kiss me. And then next thing you know, I came home with a sore throat. So I've been really pushing not to get to that next level. So if you see me put a thing in my mouth or drink my tea, I'm trying to get rid of this sore throat. So, and also my voice might just kind of go out here. Hopefully it doesn't. So I saw this story today. Oh my God, you guys. It's the craziest thing ever. Well, not ever. There's so many crazy stories, right? That's why I put this today called The Mad, Mad World. It's losing its mind. The world is losing its mind. Let me bring this up because I really, really, really want to talk about it. Listen.
7 on Your Side investigates a case of child abuse that could lead to a wider investigation tonight. It involves 21 children, all linked to the same couple in Arcadia. Eyewitness News reporter Rob Hayes live with the details. Rob?
Yeah, Mark, 21 children all living inside this house, all of them from surrogate moms. 17 of them were 3 years old or younger. Now, we tried to talk to the folks who live here, but the front gate's been locked all day. That didn't stop the police from getting in, though.
It's a house that looks like a castle, but it's under investigation for being a possible factory, a baby factory.
We believe that it extended beyond our city and into possibly other parts of the country and maybe internationally.
Arcadia police stumbled upon this house on Camino Real Avenue while investigating a child abuse case, a 2-month-old suffering a traumatic head injury. After getting a search warrant, detectives seized security cameras from inside the home and made some alarming discoveries.
We discovered numerous children, 15 children to be specific, ranging in ages from 2 months old to 13 years old. Many of the children were birthed through surrogacy, and then the male and female at the residence took legal guardianship of those kids.
6 other kids, investigators say, had been moved to other homes.
I want to die right now. First off, y'all know I'm trying to adopt a kid. Secondly, how they act so insane in the adoption world. It's crazy. Yet here are these people. It gives me chills. They create, it's a factory. It's a factory. So these are surrogate. You understand? These are surrogate children. So they hired these women to create surrogate children for them. 21 kids, people. 21 babies.
All 21 of the kids confirmed to be the children of this couple, 65-year-old Guajun Shen and 38-year-old Sylvia Zhang. They were arrested for felony child endangerment but later released. Police have also issued an arrest warrant for their nanny, 56-year-old Chun Mei Lee. Investigators say after looking at the surveillance video, she is the main suspect in the child abuse case and is still on the loose.
The discipline, both verbally and physical, was severe.
So these kids were being abused in this house, clearly, and now the nanny is on the run, you guys.
To the point where, again, it supported.
Okay, you know what? Hold up here. I'm just going to stop something. Hey, Ann, or this weirdo, protect trans kids. What is a trans kid? You probably say 21 of these kids are trans. Get the hell out of here. First off, let me just tell you something, buddy. Unknown user, because it's a troll, because it's an unknown user. No such thing as trans kids, okay? So there's that. Secondly, you're allowed to have an opinion here, okay? So thirdly, no such thing as trans kids. Have a nice day.
The beliefs that child abuse was occurring inside the home.
Now, sources tell us of the 21 children, 17 are 3 years old or younger. So where did all these kids come from? That is what the FBI is trying to figure out. The Bureau refused to comment on the case, but Arcadia police confirmed that their detectives are working with the FBI.
What?
Arcadia's investigation, though, determined that the children are the product of a surrogacy operation owned, you guessed it, by Zhang and Shen.
It's horrific. It's disturbing. It's damaging emotionally.
Kayla Elliott is one of the surrogate mothers hired by Zhang and Shen. She says they told her they only had one other child.
This
She's
is
now
the
hoping
part.
to get custody of the child that she bore for the couple.
These
17 different pregnant.
To trust them and follow their
17
guidance.
different pregnant women.
Come to find out, the whole thing was a
my
scam,
God, you
and
guys.
the parents own the agency. I mean, that was
What?
not.
It's so absurd, you guys. It's just absurd. It gets more and more insane as the story goes on. Hold on here 1 sec. Our guest is here, and I just want to get to this next.
Twisted story developing in Arcadia, where several surrogate mothers say they were duped into carrying a child for the same couple, who have now been arrested on suspicion of child abuse. And the number of children involved in the bizarre.
Is it even legal to have 21 surrogate children? I don't know. I have to look into that. If anybody knows, is it legal to have 21 surrogate? Is there a cap on how many kids? Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel I kind of feel like that seems totally weird to me. No, I think it's Arcadia in California, here where I live.
Story is staggering.
Yeah, 21 children aged 2 months to 13 years old have been taken into protective custody.
2 months old to what? 3?
We have live team coverage on this case tonight, including KTLA's Lindsay Pena. She's in the newsroom. We're going to start off with Lauren Lister, though. She's live in Arcadia. Lauren.
Good evening. Police tell me that most of the children were babies and toddlers, and the mother could furnish birth certificates showing she's the legal parent to all 21 of them. They are now in protective custody following a child abuse investigation where...
So now you got 21 kids in protective custody, which is foster care. And I live in California, but there is a city in California called Arcadia. So I'm pretty sure this is Arcadia, California. That being said, 21 kids are now in foster care, okay, called protective custody. You and I both know what foster care means. I took a foster care class. I was going to be a foster parent. I could barely make it through the first session without bawling my eyes out. And I said, this is not for me, because it's actually insane. So now these people had 21 kids from the ages of, what they say, 3 months to 3 or something, that are all being, okay. So trans kids absolutely exist, and you're wrong. So, okay, you can say what you like, friend, but that's not true. So anyway, that being said, what? How is that possible? How is that possible that they could even be? So the surrogacy mothers feel duped, which is also a story to me. Like, okay, I guess, how would you know? How would you even know that you were doing this? Because do you know when you are a surrogate? I don't know much about surrogacy, but do you know that you're actually supporting a 21 child situation? I don't know. It's very strange to me. So before I move to my guest today, who's a very awesome, important person, and I feel very, very honored to have this person on today, I want to let you know that I would actually please respect this guest. We have Anne and Lisa, who are our mods, who will not tolerate any nonsense. Okay, so whether or not you agree with this person, you're more than welcome to have an opinion, but you're not. Oh, it's not. We won't tolerate nonsense here. Trans kids do not exist. That's my opinion. Okay, you're allowed to say that here, but it's not. In my opinion, I'm a transsexual. You're probably not even trans saying that. You've probably been duped into the ideological space. So this person is going to have a great conversation with me today. And I hope that you all understand how important this conversation is about to be. And I hope that you really understand how honored we all should be to have this person join us today. So with that, I'm going to do this and I'm going to add them to the stage. Hi, do I call you Daviana? Is that how you pronounce it?
That is correct.
Great. So I think maybe a lot of people know who you are. Daviana is, well, how about you just introduce yourself? So thanks for being here, friend. I super appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I was completely stunned. Somebody else told me that you reached out to me. I didn't even know.
Okay, well, that's how it works.
Yeah, it's been a little overwhelming for the past month, I would say. I did not expect this. So who am I? So I am 47 years old. And at a very young age of about somewhere between 6 and 10, I can't remember when, I knew there was something different about me. But,
Sure.
To give your viewers an idea, I'm 47 years old. So we're talking about, the early 80s. And
Right.
in the early 80s, the concept of trans wasn't public.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't in the open mind or anything like that. So like growing up with two older brothers, two older sisters, and a working dad and a working mom, it's like, the school I went to, like there was like maybe one black person and there was like two gay kids that got beat up all the time.
Yeah.
So
Horrible.
like me coming out about feeling the way I felt about how I wanted to dress in women's clothes, I wanted to present differently. I wasn't about to do it. I was scared shitless.
Yeah.
So I did everything I could to just keep on pushing it down as I grew up. And finally, when things happened the right way, it was just like, okay, I can do this now. So
Wow.
in short, that's like the very short with the least amount of details. That's
Well, we'll get into it. So with that, so when did you start to decide that you wanted to transition? How long ago?
I started that I decided back during COVID.
Okay.
But during that time, I was paying attention a lot to like social media and the polarization of trans, kind of like much like it is now with like the Lily Tinos of the world and stuff.
Yeah.
And everybody being really hateful towards each other. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to be a part of that community. So let me kind of hold off. I was just like, I don't know if I want to be that, like be involved with that, worry about all that hate and stuff. And like at the time I had a family. So I was just like, maybe not, I'll back off. And I continued to, spend my time in private behind closed doors or going out to clubs, dressing and presenting myself as my female self. And then it just got to a point where I was like, I can't do this. And like, I started to think to myself, I'm like, you know what? I can just be me and not be part of any community. Like, I don't need to be a part of anything. I don't need to be a part of the trans community, the LGBT community, the rainbow community. I don't need to be a part of any community. I was like, my community is going to be my friends and my family and the people that love and respect me. And that's it.
Great.
So last April is when I took my first shot of hormones.
Oh, wow.
But 4 years before that, I started therapy.
Okay.
And then about a year and a half into therapy, my therapist was like, there's no doubt that you are who you are. And I started going to therapy as me, as David. And then I started going to therapy as Daviana. And she was just like, the very first time I did it, she was just like, are you kidding me? I'm like, what? She goes, it's night and day. She's like, you're like a ball of fire and stars. She's like, you look amazing. She goes, you're glowing. She goes, this is who you are. She goes, there's no doubt. And from there, it was spending the next 2 years figuring out, how do I tell my daughter? because it was like at that time my daughter was 5.
Okay.
And it was like, so we spent years trying to figure out the ins and the outs and like doing research and studies, and we couldn't find anything. There was like one case I think we found somewhere in like Britain or something where there was a dad and a daughter about my age, but that was the only known therapeutic case we could find. Wow. So there was nothing. So we started basing it on the concept of the younger the child is, the easier they can get over things and get through things and adapt to things. So it was like, well, the sooner you tell her, the better. So there was a plan to tell her with with her mom, which is my ex-wife, and her therapist. But then I don't know if you've listened to the story of me coming out to her, but like, it's, so it was. So it was me and my partner sitting in my bedroom one day. I think it was in the summer, and she comes in and she opened my little top, like my dressers have 2 top jewelry trays. And she's like, Daddy, she's like, this is a lot of jewelry. Is this all yours? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, it's kind of girly. And I'm like, yeah. But now at this time, mind you, my daughter's like painting my toenails, painting my fingernails. We're going to the salon together to get our nails done. Like my nails were long. Like she didn't really care. It was like just daddy daughter time, you know? And I'm like, well, you know, Daddy likes girly and pretty things. And she's like, well, like how much girly and pretty things? Like really girly and pretty things. She goes, I need to know more. And I was like, well, I'm like, sometimes, you know, I like to dress like a girl. I said, it makes me happy. And she just gave me this look. And I was like, do you want to like see a picture maybe? And she's like, yeah. I was like, I have a picture with me and Mommy. And she's like, okay. So I showed her a picture of me and Mommy standing side by side and I'm dressed. And she looks at it and she's like, I didn't expect this. And my heart dropped. I was like, uh-oh. And she goes, where did all this hair come from? Because I'm bald. And I was like, oh. I was like, is that it?
Is that it?
Hold on, I gotta plug this in.
That's all right. That's all right. Oh my God! Wait, at this time, is she
6.
older than? Oh, she's 6 now. Okay, 6, right?
So then she's like, "Where's the hair?" I was like, "It's in the closet." She's like, "Here? It's here." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's here. I want to see it." I was like, "Okay." So I had like a double door closet, and the front half was all my boy stuff, and the back half was all my girl stuff. And I was like, I opened the closet, I reached up, I got the hair out. It was on a headstand, and she saw like 8 other hair pieces in there. She's like, "There's more than one?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "I want to see them all."
Wow.
So I take them all out, and she's looking at it, and like again, she goes, "This isn't acceptable." And again, my heart dropped. I'm like, shit. Like, this is going to go good. I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, why isn't this stuff brushed and ready to be worn? And I was just like, oh my God, thank God. So I was like, well, I'll brush it when I'm like ready to put it on. She goes, you need to clean this. Like, these need to be washed and brushed. She goes, these are a mess, Daddy. And I was just like,
great.
I was like, okay. I'm like, so do you want to like see me dressed? And she's like, no, not today. And I was like, okay. And then fast forward to the next day, and she comes in and starts picking out my outfit.
Wow.
And
wow.
I'm like, all right, so we'll go and have a girls' day. And she's like, yeah. So me and her, my partner at the time, we got dressed up in dresses, and we went out to her favorite restaurant, which is the Yard House.
Okay.
And we went out and we had lunch, and we hung out and walked around and stuff and took pictures, and she was fine with it. And the next day I was like, you know, how do you want Daddy to dress today? And she's like a boy. I was like, okay.
Great.
So that was fine. And then the day after that, it was like, she came back in the room and started picking out my outfit. And then she's like, can I help you with your makeup today? And I'm like, sure. So, and like, I pretty much never dressed like a boy again. And then it was probably like a month later, I was going through my closet and I started to like, I'm going to take out some of the clothes and just donate them. But I had this one outfit that she absolutely adored me in, which was a pair of dress shoes, gray slacks, and a very like light, very pretty pink dress shirt. And like, I wasn't going to throw that out, I'll donate it, because like, that was like every daddy daughter day was that outfit, no matter what.
Right.
So she comes into my room. She's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm just going to donate some of these clothes." I was like, "Oh." She's like, "Okay." She goes, "I'll help." I'm like, "Okay." So she just starts taking everything out of the closet. And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then she goes to grab that outfit. I'm like, "What are you doing?" She goes, "What?" I'm like, "That's your favorite outfit." She goes, "Daddy, you don't need to wear boy clothes anymore." I was like, "Okay." I'm like,
Wow.
"All right, that's it. It's done."
Wow.
And like since then, she made like this amazing event at we were at a park in the summer, and I was dressed, as me, and we ran into two of her friends from school,
Mm-hmm.
and both little girls.
Mm-hmm.
And we went over to the parents, and I know the parents because I was doing a kids fitness camp at my gym for April vacation for the kids that didn't go away. So I knew all the parents, and they're like, "Hi." I'm like, "Hi." I'm like, they're like, "It's David, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "You have any questions?" They're like, "No, it's fine." I was like, "Okay." And one of the little girls walks up to my daughter and goes, "Isn't that your dad?" And she's like, "Yeah." "Why is he dressed like a girl?" She goes, "Because it makes him happy, and that makes me happy, and that's all that matters." And I was just like,
"Oh my God."
I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Wow.
And I looked over at the parent, and like they ran off, like no care in the world. They all ran off and played. I looked over at the parents. I'm like, "Did you hear that?" And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "That's like 6 going on 26, right?" And she's like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "That was amazing."
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's like,
well, the thing is, and I think first off, thanks for being a great parent. And no matter what other people think about how you raise your child, or I'm a parent, right? So I'm a dad, right? But my kid calls me Buck. But that being said, does your child still call you dad, or do they call you mom?
Dad. She has a mom. She has a mom.
Excellent. I mean, that for me, that feels awesome. Secondly, people are going to all, they're just going to have opinions and think what you're doing is wrong. I disagree. I think what you're doing is right. You're being honest to your child. You also, what was so beautiful, how you just sort of went and let the child sort of lead you. From hearing it, feels like you let the child lead the situation.
So I brought her to my surgeon.
Wow.
I was doing voice therapy very early on. She was part of my voice therapy. Like, it was very easy for me to change my voice when I read a book to her.
Sure.
So, like, they had me reading stories to her during voice therapy. I brought her to where else did I bring her? I go to her therapy sessions all the time, but like not in them, just drop her off. My name. So I haven't legally changed my name to Daviana yet.
Okay.
Because I was waiting for her to tell me it was okay.
Sure.
So like after my first facial surgery was done and it like completely healed, and I was like, "So what do you think?" I said, "Can we change the name yet? Should we wait until like, Daddy has, tops?" And she goes, "Maybe we should wait a little bit." I was like, "Okay." So then I had this done, and then just a couple of weeks ago, I asked her. I said, "So where are we on the name thing?" She goes, "I think you're good." She goes, "You can change your name now." And I was like, "Okay." And I just haven't made the steps, but like I'm totally letting it's at her comfort level because she's the most important to me. So like it's you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like I'm happy being who I am now, like ecstatically happy. So like now I need to make sure that she's coming along just as happy. And we have a very open, honest, like she tells me every now and then, she goes, "Daddy, I did like the other version of you better." I said, "I know, honey." I said, "But you know why I had to change?" She goes, "Yeah." She goes, You're happier." She goes, and I know. And I was like, "Okay, great." I said, "As long as you know that." I said, "And I appreciate you telling me your feelings when you need to."
Well, that's such a great open dialogue with your child. And so you're right. Of course, the child's going to have mixed feelings. I think it would be weird if they didn't have mixed feelings. But what about your ex-wife, your ex-partner? Do you have a relationship with her?
If my daughter was sitting here right now, she'd be like, "Ah."
That's difficult.
It's hostile at the moment.
Okay.
But she was involved in all of my cross-dressing. She was the first one to take me out in public and teach me how to do my makeup softer.
Your ex?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Like I went out in public for the very first time on my own at like midnight. I went out and put gas in my truck. Like that's how scared and terrified I was to go in public.
Sure.
And then like I found a club that has like trans nights. And I went there by myself at first, and then I went with my wife. And then after that, I was like, all right, I want to go in public, not just a place where we're accepted. So my wife helped me pick out like, nice clothes, like a nice blouse and some jeans and some sandals. So it wasn't too tall. It was in the summer. And we went to a place called Newburyport up here, which is a very big open community town where like the shops everywhere and you can walk around. And we went out there and we took pictures together and stuff like that. And, you know, she got me a fake engagement ring to wear with a diamond on it and stuff like that. So I could still have the presence of being married. And she was very nice about it before we got divorced.
So what happened then? That seems like she was so okay. And then was it divorce made her mad maybe?
I think it was that. And like, I wasn't a great husband.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right, that's fair.
I'm aware
Sure.
of that. I wasn't a great husband.
Sure.
So like, I think she's just still angry about that I wasn't a great husband and that like,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. You know, I wouldn't.
It's okay. That's all
ask her.
personal. Sure,
Yeah.
that's all personal. I mean, and you know, divorce is not easy. I've gone through 2 divorces, horrible divorces. You know, like it's just a nightmare. But so when you guys got separated, I kind of want to get back to the kid, and then you started kind of going this way, and then your child goes back and forth, right, between you and her mother. So. Does the kid feel like something there going back and forth? Or I guess what I'm trying to get at, do you think that your ex says things about you to your child?
I honestly don't know. I hope not. I mean,
I hope not.
My daughter has told me that she hears my ex and her boyfriend fighting about me and my transition behind closed doors. But like, she's also 7, so she could be trying to draw a wedge between us or trying to pick sides. Like, you know what I mean? Like kids say things that may or may not be true. Like, and I try
that's true.
You know what I mean? So I try to believe her first and just hope for the best. You know, it's like, what can you do?
Well, what you're doing, I think, is just honestly, again, people are going to have opinions about what you're doing. It's not good parenting, blah, blah, blah. But the situation is this, and in my opinion, is the thing that caught my eye with you is your honesty about the fact of your biology. You know, I really cannot stand this idea that trans women are women and I'm a man. And, you know, I transitioned over like 33 years ago, my friend. So like, I just have such a different perspective on what's going on today. And so when I saw you and your video blew up and you were like, I'm a dude, but I want to be a woman. And I was like, oh my God, I love this. I love this person. Who are you? Because you're so grounded in it. And then now having this conversation, you're literally the person that I saw on the Instagram or TikTok, whatever it was. And you are that person. You are being real. And so for me to tell the people out there who are not okay with this, you have to understand that gender dysphoria is real and it does hurt and it will destroy you and it will make you a bad person. And what you said earlier, I was not a good husband, that could have also come from your gender dysphoria.
Oh, yeah.
100%. And the child will suffer from the parent not moving forward in their own life. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't care what you think about Daviana and you think that Daviana is a bad parent for transitioning in front of their child. I disagree. I think, and also because of the way you're handling it, it just seems because what are you going to do? Hide it? And the kids aren't stupid. They're very smart. Yeah.
Very intuitive.
Yeah, very intuitive. So you're going to hide it from your child where you're already in a divorce and you're going to hide your transitioning. The kid is going to get some stuff's going to come up. To me, it's worse to hide it than to sort of be. And the fact that they still call you dad, right? Mm-hmm. So you're not trying to change that aspect of it. You're just saying daddy feels better being this way as a female or a woman.
Oh,
right?
I mean, that's the biggest thing that I gave her was the security of like, I will always be your daddy, no matter what.
Bam.
No matter what, I will always be your daddy, and that's all that matters.
Bam. Bam. That's it. And that, to me, is love. And that someone just wrote on here a beautiful thing. That's father. They wrote his love for his daughter is still a father's love. That's it. And so, you know, you and I both know we get judged. We're just going to be judged. We're in the public eye. We put ourselves out there. And I want to also say thank you for putting yourself in the public eye because it's not easy. I'm pretty sure you get hate. Do you not?
I'll be honest with you. Like TikTok is pretty good.
Wow.
Instagram is unbelievably hateful. Like, so when I came out on Instagram publicly over a year ago.
Wow.
And that coming out video, like destroyed me. Like within the first week, I blocked 800 accounts.
I love you, dude.
But it wasn't because of like comments like you're a dude or anything like that.
Yeah,
It was like comments like murderous comments and like, you know, you should off yourself. You shouldn't be a parent. Like that poor, like it was just like it hurt. And I blocked them all. And then like one of my friends told me, they were like, I know it hurts, but don't block them. Respond to every single one of them and watch it just go up, and they'll make you popular. And so like I did that, and it went up like, you know, through Instagram. And then like 6 months ago or so, I opened up a TikTok, and I just put a couple of my videos and pictures up there, but nothing crazy. And then I ran into someone who was a TikTok manager, and we weren't talking about TikTok. We just met, and he was asking me about my gym and stuff. And like, he was like, so how have people been with your transition? So I started telling him a little bit of a story, and I didn't know he was a TikTok manager. And he goes, are you on TikTok? And I'm like, no. He goes, you need to get on TikTok. He goes, you're going to go crazy viral if you tell your story. He goes, you need to get on TikTok. So I was like, all right. I was like, I'm kind of already there. So I was like, you know what? I'll do an intro video of like, this is me. And that's what I did, a 60-second intro video of this is me. And it just went. Crazy. So that day I put it up, I had 251 followers. Okay. That was June 6th.
And now what do you have?
Over 330,000.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. No, it really, you know, I'll say also as a female to male, different. People don't tend to be so nasty to us. It's a much more difficult transition, in my opinion, and watching over the years of this, and especially now in the last 5 to 10 years, because we have disingenuous trans women, right? We have just dudes pretending they're women with mustaches and beards, and like not even trying to make the effort you're doing.
Yeah,
but
I'm sorry.
That's all right. What's up?
Nothing. I just needed
You're like, get out. Is it your...
Yeah. Can you do it right now? Thank you. I'm so sorry.
It's up, dude.
Much better.
And I say dude. I hope you don't find that I'm from California. I call everybody dude, even my partner.
Yeah, no, I don't care. That's fine.
Okay, right on. So anyway, you look amazing, but I think it's just a much more difficult transition from a man to a woman, and there's a lot more sort of hate on the internet, and it's because of the disingenuous trans women who make it much harder for you. In my opinion, they're not making an effort. You're making a huge effort to be a woman.
And one of the biggest reasons why I decided to I told my ex-wife years ago, I said, you watch. I said, if I go public with how I feel, I said about transitioning, I said, I guarantee you I'm going to save people's lives. I said, I bet on it. And she was like, yeah, whatever. So when I finally decided to do the whole Instagram thing, the amount of people I have reaching out to me about help with their trans kid or their trans uncle or their trans father or their trans daughter has been overwhelming. Like, wow. Like I spent last week catching up on sleep because I was trying to make sure I try to answer all of the direct messages I get that are asking me, I need help. So finally, just today, I posted a video directed towards trans youth that a woman asked me 2 nights ago. She reached out to me. She goes, did you ever think about doing a video with your thought process on trans youth? She goes, directing it to the youth.
Great.
And so I just posted it. And I literally had 2 people that I know that are child psychologists reach out to me and say, can I show this video to some of my parents? I was like, yeah, of course you can. It's public. Do what you want. She goes, because it's going to sound better coming from someone than just me.
Of course, like someone who actually is trans.
Yeah. And then the other night I was on live until midnight here. And this young trans kid came on. And as soon as his age was under 18 and people were like, get him off, get him off. And I'm like, yeah. And I started listening to him and he was complaining that, you know, his dad was very accepting of him transitioning. His mom was saying, I need to mourn my daughter. I can't just do this, that, and the other thing. And he was upset. And I was like, well, let me ask you something. I said, so you're a biological female? And he goes, yeah. I said, do you have any siblings? He goes, yeah, I have a brother. I'm like, so what you're telling me, I said, is that your mother's only daughter? And he goes, yeah. I said, okay. I said, so you've been your mother's only daughter for 15 years.
Yeah.
I'm like, and now you're asking her to immediately start calling you he. And he was like, yeah. I was like, do you hear how that sounds? I'm like, think about that. I'm like, she birthed you as a baby girl. She named you as a baby girl and she raised a baby girl. I said, now in a blink of an eye, you're asking her to call you a boy.
Yes.
And he was taken back by it. And I was like, do you think maybe you should sit down with her and have a chat? I was like, and ask her how she feels. And he's
Yes.
like, do you think that would help? I said, yes, I think it would help. I said, on top of that, I said, you know what, when you're done, I said, come back to me and send me a message and tell me how it goes. So 3 days later, I get an inbox message, and he's like, I sat down with her. It went very, very well. We discussed our feelings. He's like, and then 2 days later, I told her about you, and now she follows you and she loves you, and we have a much better relationship now. I was like,
my God.
thank you.
Oh my God, thank you for doing that. It's so important that we say that to these young people, because I'm not saying kids don't have dysphoria. Of course they do. I had dysphoria, no doubt. I have an issue with calling them trans kids, because I think you got to give kids an opportunity to figure stuff out before you just stamp somebody as something, right? I mean, come on, we all know we change our minds during processes. There's nothing wrong. Also, for me, there's nothing wrong with a kid cross-dressing or being in this space. But what you said is so beautiful and really powerful, because I say the same thing. You've got to give your parents a break. They're going to lose their daughter or their son. And what you said is so profound. And now you put the family back together, because I'm a very big old family person. I really do believe that we can't disrupt the family unit, right? There's going to be turmoil. When a kid loses their family, then they're going to be lost and taken over by some disingenuous people, which I think that we are seeing. There are people, and in fact, to me, are sort of like, come over here. Your family doesn't understand you, which is really a scary thing to say, because that's not true.
Yeah. And then that was an actually really good night, because immediately after that, the next person that I let into the live was a couple years older, and she was a female who decided she wanted to be a boy. And she started explaining her feelings. She's like, I like boy things. She goes, I like to have my hair cut short. She goes, I like to be bigger, and I like to do this, and I like to do that. And I just think because of that, I should be a boy. And I said, well, let me explain something to you. I said, being a girl, I said, boy things, as you call it, I said, is very acceptable. I said, you can wear jeans and work boots and regular t-shirts and cut your hair short. I said, and still be a girl. Yes. I said, it's not that way for men that want to be a woman. I said, you can't do that and people not look at us. I said, the world is very accepting of the woman presenting more masculine. I'm like, and you can go out and do all the boy things you want. I said, and still be a woman. I said, I'll give you a perfect example. I said, a close friend of mine, I said, just had a baby girl. I'm like, now she works out really well. She eats really well. So she's extremely flat chested. She cuts her hair short. She doesn't wear makeup. And like, she has that girlish look kind of, but like she presents pretty much 100% masculine. And she just gave birth to her and her wife's baby. I said, like a year ago. I'm like, so she's doing everything she wants to do to be a masculine woman. I said, with the benefits of still being a woman without losing the ability to give birth and have a future as a woman. I'm like, so think about that. I said, you don't need to transition just because you like male things. And she was like, oh, she goes, thanks. She goes, I didn't really think of it that way. I was like,
thank you. You know, do you also notice that the majority of the young people who are transitioning are girls? The majority of them are girls to boys, because there's a lot going on there, right? I think it is easier on some level to be a boy than be a girl. They see things differently. There's a lot of trauma attached to it. A lot of the detransitioners, which I do talk a lot about, happen to be girls who wanted to be boys because they think their life will be easier. And then we're just letting that happen instead of saying what you just said. Be a boy, dress like a boy. Nobody cares. But medicalization is my cutoff. I just think medicalizing a young person before they're old enough to even understand the real damage it can cause. I mean, there is no going back. You know, you and I both, there's no going back, my friend. If you want to go back to living as a man, you're going to look like a very female man. And you said you got breast implants?
Yes.
What's going to happen if you decided you want, but you're old enough to you're in your 40s. No problem, right? But a kid who's 15 really taking that cutting off their breast thing is can be very damaging on so many levels. And so there's no nuance in the conversation, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's like, trans kids exist. You know, you got to let them be. I said, but wait a minute. What you're just saying, why don't you just dress like a boy or like understand and you know, we don't have therapy. When I went through it, you said you went through a lot of therapy too. I went through years of therapy before my transition.
Yeah. I mean, I had a kid reach out to me and he's like, you know, he goes, why is it that you don't think that I should have access to, you know, hormones and this, that, and the other thing. I'm 17 and blah, blah. I'm like, I was like, well, I'm looking on your profile. I said, I don't really see any pictures of you being feminine. I'm like, so he sent me a bunch of pictures that didn't include his face, and he wasn't feminine at all. Like there was no pictures of him in a dress or a skirt. I'm like, you know what? If you really think you're trans, I said, do yourself a favor. I'm like, put on a dress, do your hair, do your makeup. I said, and go out and walk around in town and see if you really like it.
Excellent.
I was like, go experience it. I said, before you do it. I said, because you're either going to get out there and be so shy and scared and timid that you're going to hate it or hate yourself. I said, are you going to go out there and feel empowered? And feel comfortable. I said, and one way or the other is going to kind of help you make up your mind. I said, and on top of that, I said, do you have a therapist? No. I'm like, get a therapist.
It's crazy. It is so crazy. But, they used to make us do that, which was to live in the opposite sex. We had to dress like a boy, walk the world as a boy, live that, which you did. You said you were doing with your wife. You were going out and, just living in the world for years, which is why I think you're so grounded about who you and what you are. And you're really kind of old school. Like we used to just be like you and I, where we know we're male and female. We understand that, but we want to present to the world. It's the presentation, right? Do you think the presentation has calmed your dysphoria down?
I think the presentation has calmed my dysphoria down. I think the hormones have calmed my dysphoria down.
For sure.
Like everything that comes along with the hormones, like between like the feelings of like hormonal, almost perimenopause, menopause feelings, and hot flashes and sensitive nipples and like everything, and the transference of body fat and but everything is like, and it's funny because like, when I do my lives, my voice is softer. And and it takes practice. And everybody's always like, why are you so out of breath? I'm like, because changing your voice from male to female, I said, takes a lot more breathing through the mouth.
Yeah.
I said, men talk from their chest.
Right.
Like when you talk, you can feel your chest and your throat vibrating. I said, but when you slow down, if I slow down, I can soften my voice a little bit and I can work on it. But this takes a lot of oxygen because now my voice is coming out here and it takes practice. And I've been using my lives as a way to practice. Mm-hmm. And that takes a lot out of me.
It is. Well, also you have so what do you feel about your voice? Do you feel like you need to change your voice or you're just kind of...
I want to change my voice. And like everyone's asking me about like, well, aren't the hormones going to change your voice? And I'm like, no, that only works for female to male because testosterone will give you male features such as hair and changing your vocal cords. Mm-hmm. But estrogen won't change your vocal cords the other way.
Right.
I'm like, so I said, as I've been learning in voice therapy, I said, you can change your vocal cords with practice. Just like a singer tries to hit different notes, they have to practice to get to that note. And practice, and they can get it.
Yeah.
With me, like when I first went to voice therapy, they're like, so like, how easy is it going to be for you to work on this? I'm like, oh, probably pretty easy. I said, everybody in my gym like accepts me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the wrong idea. Everybody in my gym accepts me, so they don't care what my voice sounds like.
That's right. That's exactly.
And because I talk to so many people at a time, like I don't have the time to take a breath. Like I'm just like, I'm on. Like go. And like, I feel like I have to talk to like 10 people at once. And it's like, there's no time for me to slow down. So it's like really like literally the sense being on TikTok, going on the TikTok lives has been the best thing to help me practice my voice, which is great. And it like, I actually have some people in there that are like, I'm like, guys, like I've told them like, just remind me if my voice gets deep, remind me. And like, sure enough, in the comments, I'll see someone coming up like girl voice. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Wow. That's so great. I had someone comment here that said, be careful talking to minors. It gives.
Yes, I know.
I don't really think I need to tell you that. I think you do know that it can come off as I won't talk to minors, just also because, I come from a different space. My old career was in the adult entertainment business. Mm-hmm. I just always sort of have that, but people are really wary of the trans space right now. I feel like there's a lot of groomers and a lot of, this, even though that's clearly not your intention. I don't need to be telling you that. I just wanted to say that somebody.
And I don't really think there's as many as they think there is.
Right. It's like one or two pop in every once in a while to say that. That's right.
Like, it's like one of the biggest things that I get all the time from people is like, crap, I just lost my train of thought.
It's okay. The young kids, or there's not so many of them on your feed. Sometimes you don't know either.
Yeah,
How
no,
do
I
you
have no
even
idea.
know?
You don't know.
Yeah, you don't know
And,
how old these kids are.
and the funny thing is I changed my lives to be 18 plus, but I still got a young kid in there.
That's right, because they lie from the other side 100%
Yes. So
somehow
I'm
to
like,
get
oh, how
to
did
get
that
on.
happen?
That's right, totally. I mean, I like your voice. I like the presentation with this. So I had a guest on last week, a trans woman, and she also has a very deep voice. And I should connect you guys because I think you get along really well. And I also have a really great friend named Tori, who is a vocal. She does vocals, and maybe I can just connect you with other people, and you guys all. So, but I love the deep voice. There's something about it that just I don't know. I just think it's so cool. And like I don't care.
Everybody's been saying the same thing. They're like, don't change your voice. I love it. I get so many people that are like, your voice is so calming. I could listen to you all night long. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, but guys, just remember, this is my transition.
That's right.
I'm like, and I do want it to be a little bit softer. Like, I'm not looking
No,
for
I get it.
Like, I'm not looking for that, like, oh my God, like type of voice. But and it's
no, but just a little less.
Yeah,
like,
and my voice
right.
therapist, she tells me, she goes, you should practice that. I'm like, practice what? She goes, that extremely high pitched flamboyant voice.
Yes.
Because what'll happen is like, as
Yes.
you practice that, she goes, your vocal cords will end up meeting in the middle.
Oh.
I said, I didn't think of that. I'm like,
Well, same with my voice. I have a total 16-year-old little kid voice. I'm 63 years old. So like my voice always and I just never gave a shit about my voice. I was always like, I don't fucking care. I always more care with my, my physique and my beard and and having a chest. Like that was really my dysphoric space. So as I got to be 63, I still have this 16-year-old. And then when I get excited, my voice does go.
I love it. I get it. Yeah.
It's
People
kind
like,
of
your
funny.
voice is so calming. I can just listen to it all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, really?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, you could just like,
Yeah.
you could talk about anything. She goes, just read us a book. We don't
I mean, you just have such a great attitude, and I think what's so important is we have more and more people like yourself who come to the table with, look, this is who I am. I needed to do this. You prove that the dysphoria can be relieved, and you have your own. Do you have your own business or
I own my own gym.
Yeah, you have your own gym. You're like doing your own thing. Like all of that is what the world needs to see. We just want to coexist back into the world.
And what I tell people a lot about that is that, people like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? You shouldn't be in like this kind of space or that kind of space. I said, keep one thing in mind. I said, first of all, there is so many other trans women out there just like me. I said, with the exception of one thing, they're not as big as me. I said, and they have the perfect voice. I said, which means they're probably walking right next to you, talking to you.
Right.
I said, you don't even know it. I said, and
That's
the reason why they're not stepping forward, I said, is because they're living their life as their authentic self and they don't want to be called out.
That's right.
I'm like, they're already passing. You don't know it, and they don't want you to know it.
That's
I'm like,
right.
and I don't blame them. I said, because if they do let people know it, I said, they're going to get treated like I get treated.
Yes.
I said,
that's
and
right.
I look at it like this. I am big enough, pardon the pun, but to take on that burden and like try to set some people straight, because like I got into, like, I was a Marine. And
Wow.
when I left the Marine Corps, like I just fell into this, and like
Yeah.
I love helping people, like,
Yeah.
and like my gym's not just about like weight loss. Like I handle people that are like going through chemo treatments, people that have had strokes, like brain tumors, like you name it. Like I want the difficult people that they've gone to doctors and the doctors are like, we don't know what to do. And I'm like, well, guess what? Everything can be healed with strength training relative to their strength. So like,
yeah.
So then when I was like, I'm going to transition, and I was like looking at what was going on with the trans community, I was like, you know what? I think I need to voice how I feel. And I think if I do that, it's going to help. And like, so to me, it's like, all right, I want to help people. And if I can be me and help people just by being me, then why not?
Of course. And again, I always use this word coexist. You're going back into the world. You're not separating yourself from that. That's what a real transsexual does. They want to get back in and live their self, authentic, whatever you want to call it, and participate. You actually participate. But you're right. Transsexual people don't want to be seen. I walk everywhere. No one ever knows that I am a female. And that's the whole point of the transition, right? It's like you need to go back. And that's why I understand why you want to change your voice. Because people will say, but women do have deep voices, by the way.
Oh yeah,
but it's
absolutely.
all your own dysphoria.
Mhm.
And that's what people need to understand. Whatever our dysphoria is, when we fix it and we're moving through I didn't have bottom surgery. I feel very happy. I've lived this way for 33 years.
Oh yeah, the amount
Never
of
even-
comments I got about that, like, you're not getting body surgery, so then how can you be a trans and you
It's
like
such
women?
BS.
I'm like, all right, so I'm not getting bottom surgery because I'm 47. Like, and I'm not getting bottom surgery because I've had intimacy for 47 years this way, and I don't want to try something new at this point.
Thank you, friend.
And
Thank
then on
you.
top of that, it's risky to the point where, like,
Yes.
it might not come out to where you can even use it.
That's
And
right.
that's not
That's
a
right.
risk I want to take because I love being intimate.
Excellent.
So
Excellent.
you want to hate me for that and tell me I'm not a trans because I'm veering on the side of caution for my own body? Then go ahead. And then I had a trans woman come on my live a couple nights ago and tell me that I'm AGP. She's like, you're autogynephilia to a T.
Oh my
I'm like,
God, they love saying that.
and I'm like, are you kidding me? And she's like, I'm like, how would you know? She goes, what do you
That's
mean,
right.
how would I know? I'm like, she goes, do you know what it is? I said, yes, it's sexual arousal by transitioning. I said,
Yes.
I said, I'm sitting here talking to you right now. I said, I'm not aroused. I said, I get up every morning and do my hair and my makeup. I said, I'm not aroused. I said, I go to work every day and I'm not aroused. I said, as a matter of fact, I'm only aroused when I'm being intimate. I'm like, so that's how I know I'm not AGP.
Right on, right on. No, that's the problem with what happened. And I'm telling you, I feel so bad for real transsexual women because these real actual AGPs fetishized the space. They actually did. And so it got caught. There's nothing wrong with fetishes. There's nothing wrong with cross-dressing, transvestitism, eroticism about who you want to be, but it's distinguish the difference, and that's the part is they need to distinguish the difference. And what I didn't get, because I also like sexual space, and if I would have done that, it's even worse for the penis surgery. It's horrifying. And so yeah, I'm not going to do that and ruin my whole life and not have intimate relations. It's like so ridiculous. You're still transsexual, whether or not you choose to do that part. Even if you didn't choose to have that, the fact that you make an effort to transition and pass, right? The passing is
I think that's a big part. And like,
yes.
And that's, for me, my voice is like, anytime I go out somewhere, like I want to be able to sit down and order something and like not see that like the person's looking at me like this is a really big woman, and then I speak and they go, oh, maybe not.
Yeah, but
I would like to get past that.
But bodybuilding women, right? But they literally look like you. Like that's a bodybuilding, because my friend is a bodybuilder woman and she has a deeper voice than me, and she's yoked,
Well,
so you can literally be that.
Yeah, so many people have said that to me. Like,
yeah,
I didn't
totally.
even know you were a man. I thought you were I didn't know you were transsexual. I thought you were just a big, beautiful bodybuilder. I'm like,
that's
thank
right.
you. I'm like, I love that. Like, that's amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
But like now it's like, I didn't expect everything to happen the way it is. So like now, like I'm being approached by people that are like, but it's all complimentary. Like I went to the beach like weeks ago and I'm like, looking at bikinis and like I almost bump into this woman and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. And she's like, wow. She goes, you have an amazing body. I'm like, thank you. And then she walks away and then she stops and turns around. She goes, wait a minute, don't I know you? And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, I follow you on social media. She goes,
oh my God,
you're Daviana? I'm like, yes. And she's like, oh my God. And I got a call from the UK this morning.
See, it's happening.
4:15 in the morning, my phone rings and it's +44. And I'm like, what? I'm like, this is spam. And I blew it off. And then I called right back and I'm like, I am talking to a lot of people in the UK right now. I'm like, all right, I'll answer it. I'm like, hello. This woman's like, yeah, I was hoping to get in touch with Daviana. I'm like, speaking. And she's like, oh my God. She flipped out. She goes, this is like calling the White House to talk to the president. She goes, and the president actually answers the phone. I'm like, settle down. It's not what it's like.
No, I just really love that you're having some success with it. It really says a lot. First off, you're helping the community. You're helping to get us into a space of reality-based. That's all people want. I'm telling you. And when you're honest to the world will embrace you. They will.
A lot of this is where like I tell people the same thing all the time. I'm like, guys, just keep one thing in mind. Like I don't represent the trans.
Yes. That's right.
Represent me. I said,
right.
Because most of the hate that I get that isn't from like a diehard Christian, I said, it's from someone who's trans.
Yes.
I'm like, and they're yelling and screaming at me that I'm making things worse and this, that, and the other thing. I said, because it's the trans people that want to be like, I'm a woman. my pronouns are she, her, and you better use them. I said, and those are the people that are coming at me. I'm like,
that's right.
And people are like, well, you identify as a male. I'm like, no. I said, I don't. I said, I know that I am a biological male. I said, I want in every heart, my body, my soul, my brain feels and wants to be female. I'm like, so if you wanted to use the term identify, I said, then yes, I identify as a woman. I said, but I identify as a woman that understands I'm a biological male and I can never be a biological female. I'm
That's
like,
right.
That's it. I'm like, and I don't think there's anything wrong with owning that. As a matter of fact, I think that's the sanest thing in the world to do is to own your biology, own your truth.
Yes.
I'm like,
yes,
where you came from.
Yes, because then your whole rest of your life is based on truth and reality. Exactly. And truth and reality is how could I do this for 33 years and never look back? It's because I always based myself in reality. And then people respect me. Same with you. I have the problem with the trans community. I don't represent trans. I represent me, just like you. That's why these conversations are hugely important for us.
I agree.
Hugely important. So people can see that.
I have a detransitioner that claims that she's a victim of being groomed or whatever, but she went and dug up all the dirt in public record about me and my wife.
Oh God.
And went public with it.
What?
And so, and people like, are you going to do something? Are you going to say something, this, that, and the other thing? And I let it go. And then finally I made a video and I said, it was like an 8-minute video, but I'll shorten it down for you real quick. And I was just like, look, to the person who is extremely bored, I said, and has nothing better to do with their life but to dig into my public records. I said, keep one thing in mind. I said, you are showing one side of a story.
That's right.
I said, and that's fine. I said, in order for me to defend myself against the one side that you're showing, I said, would mean that I would have to air out my ex-wife's dirty laundry. I said, I'm not going to do it.
Good for you.
I said, so
good for you.
I feel bad for you. I said, and I'm sorry that you feel the way you feel. I said, and I hope that what you're doing to me makes you feel better.
Great. Great response.
And that's what I say to everybody that like I had someone come on the other night and they were like, they just wrote queer in the comments. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, congratulations. I said, I didn't know this was a space for coming out of the closet. I said, but congratulations for coming out on my live. That's amazing. I appreciate it.
It's so good.
Everybody else assumes that oh, you transitioned, so you're gay. And it's like, people are like, why did you transition to a woman to suck dick? And I'm like,
oh my God, they're so crazy. They're crazy. And also it's your personal business. No, but that just goes to show you the toxicity that has really come into this space. And people are just angry at me. Well, Daviana, thank you so much for joining me today. Everyone in the comments, pretty much we're good. There was a couple of nasty people, but it's good. We didn't have that many. And I think everyone here appreciates you. I've really garnered a great subscriber base of beautiful, amazing people who aren't trans, but care about you and I. They actually care and they want us to be here.
I'm actually, like I told you, I'm really shocked with 99% of my followers, I would say, are probably women. And they're all like,
me too.
I would accept you in my space any day of the week. I would share the bathroom with you. I wouldn't care. I'm not worried about anything. Someone like, you could babysit my kids. I wouldn't care. And I'm just right on. It's just common sense and decency. That's all it is. Right. And I tell people, when you're going to approach somebody that you don't know anything about, I said, approach them with kindness and curiosity.
Thank you.
And then, the other thing I tell people, I said, be decent to people. So if you are a server or you're in the customer service business in any way, and someone sits down at your table, I said, and you can look at their face and be like, they're clearly a man, but they're wearing a dress. They have a clean shaved face. They have makeup on and they're putting the effort in. Then call them man.
That's right.
How hard is that? How
well,
hard is
it's not.
You know what I mean? And it's because it's I look at it like this, if you're an overweight person, would you like your server to walk up to you and be like, you're fat? They're not going to do that because that's disrespectful.
That's right.
So it's
good point.
It's just a very simple thing to just be courteous.
Or just don't say anything at all. Right. You don't have to even give that.
How can I help you? You don't have
That's
to.
Right. You don't have to use.
You?
That's right. You don't have to use programs. You could just be like, how can I help you? What do you need? Blah, blah, blah. That's what we got to get back to. We just got to get back to a sense of reality and get rid of the people who are really creating a very horrible space for us to move forward in our lives. So
yeah, people ask me like, "What are your pronouns?" I'm like, "Well, I prefer she, her, but you can use he, him, dipshit, fuckhead, like any of those work." I'm like, just never late for dinner, okay? I'm like,
never late for dinner.
I'm like, I will answer to pretty much anything.
No, but that's me too. I don't care. Call me she, whatever makes you happy. It's all good. Like nobody cares anymore. Like just stop it. I'll put all your links and everything so people can follow you and send you beautiful, nice comments.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Daviana. I appreciate you so much. Thanks, everybody, for being here today. Appreciate you. I'll release new videos today or tomorrow, and then I'll see you guys all in the next one. Thanks for being here with all the great comments. Appreciate it.
Thank you.